Hey, hey. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If we are in fact live, if you are in fact hearing us, then that means this is a successful first mission. If, however, whatever link you have been provided is not working and you don't see what you want to see, which is this, then shoot me a message on Facebook or something and let me know that you're not seeing this. But if you are hearing this and you are here and you are seeing this, then I'd like to welcome you and say thank you so much for being here to the very first, the inaugural episode of From the Mouth of Dave. I am going to be interviewing a whole bunch of my favorite local musicians and friends. And tonight, I am absolutely thrilled that it worked out the way I wanted it to. I wanted to have someone very special, someone very near and dear to me. And it just so happened that he had an off night on a night that I had an off night. And we ended up here together doing this. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it gives me great pride and great pleasure to introduce... That's right, he's the drummer for the band FIZZ and a longtime friend of mine. Put your hands together and everybody, give him a great Baltimore welcome to LATHAN RITTER. Whoa. What the... Dude, I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but...
I don't know, Dave.
Dude.
It like hit me overnight. I hit the wall.
What happened?
I'm turning 60 tomorrow. And
16 tomorrow?
Yes.
He's turning 16 tomorrow. You look a little bit more like 60 than 16. This is just you.
Love the game show.
Am I having buyer's remorse here? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Emerson Lathan Palmer.
That's great. I love that.
All right, hey, I didn't ask this chick to talk. Oh, welcome.
All right.
How about that, huh?
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's been a good long while since we have hung out. See, Lathan and I are at this stage of life now because we're gigging guys. And the only time we ever get to really see each other and hang is at gigs. There was a time when you used to come over here when I wasn't so busy, and you'd come over here and we'd hang out, or I'd go to your house, or we'd go do something. We'd go see a band together.
That's true.
But that was so long ago.
You'd hide my keys in
Yes.
microwave ovens.
Or in the bread.
Right.
I had to hide his keys one time in a loaf of bread. And I'll let you astute listeners out there figure out why I would have to do that. So, but that's not current Lathan.
No.
You're not that guy.
I'm not anymore.
Yeah, neither of us are that guy. Yeah. Well, brother. Huh. So you're playing with FIZZ. How many gigs a year are you guys doing?
Well, I'm not sure how many gigs a year we're playing. August was pretty busy. We had like 9 gigs in August, but
wow.
We try to keep it around, maybe 4 at the most.
Okay.
Some months are busier than others. In the summertime, like this past summer, it got a little busy.
Yeah.
For us, but we're going to try and get things under control next year.
Okay. Well, you guys you've been around a relatively short period of time, and you have sprung up to be one of the area's top draws for, what we do, which is playing for the oldsters.
That's true.
So that's really cool. That was you seem to have bypassed a lot of the like that introductory we're a new band thing, and the clubs saying we'll give you this, and and you guys are playing all the right rooms all the right time, and you have a really unique thing that you're bringing to the marketplace, which is playing like one-hit wonder kind of stuff from a somewhat narrow slice of the 70s.
That's correct.
And maybe there's some 80s stuff in there, maybe a little bit. Yeah. So that's really cool because I'm sure, tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys said, let's put together a band that plays all of our favorite music. This really kind of fun stuff that we remember from our youth.
Yeah, it was an idea that Ray and I sort of started off. We tried to, get something going. I was going to try and and jam with Square One when he was involved in. They needed a drummer, and that didn't work out. So we were like, you want to keep, we want to try and get something else going on. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to try to, get something else going on. And so we reached out to Mike Young. Everybody knows who Mike Young is.
Yeah.
And he had some free time. All this happened around COVID,
right?
The ass end of COVID. And so, that's when everybody was like doing their things this way.
Yeah.
They had 4 different people on one screen jamming in their places and
right.
And putting it together. So we got together over my house and started playing some tunes, and it clicked. And we're like, hey, man, this sounds pretty good for 3 knuckleheads. And that was like, I think this is our 4th year now.
Wow.
And people were digging it. That's the thing. People dig it. We're having fun. You're correct in saying, we're catching on and getting popular, each year. We started out playing at the Fish Head Cantina. My good friend Mike Warden Jr. gave us a chance, and we started playing there every month the first year around, and every month more people came.
Yeah.
More people came. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And what I love about what you guys do is you're not trying to be all things to all people, which is a trap that I think a lot of us get into when we put together these bands. We want to be popular, and we want to attract as wide of an audience as we can, and that means casting a really wide net. And that works for a lot of folks in a lot of different situations. And we've all been in bands that have gone down that path. But what you're doing is saying we're going to work a very sort of narrow margin here, because that margin it may be narrow, but that doesn't mean it's small, right? These are your fan base is people like mid 40s all the way up who remember that music and say no other band. When you go see Fizz, you're going to hear songs that no other band is playing.
There might be a couple bands out there that are doing the 70s per se, but we try to pull from the 70s and do songs that no other bands are doing.
Right. Well, even to compare it to the other band that Mike's in with me is the Regal Beagles. That's also
he's in that band with you?
Yeah. Imagine that. And the same kind of idea, except we're focused more on the even narrower path of yacht rock, which when we started doing that, no one knew what it was. It was barely a genre at that point. Now there's, I don't know, 30 yacht rock bands all over the place. But it works because you're saying if you're wanting to hear pop and dance music and all that, this is not going to be the band for you. But if you want to hear these songs from when we were kids, when we were having fun, when we were skateboarding in the streets, and then this is the band that you want to see, or these are the bands you want to see.
And that's what Ray says every gig.
Yeah.
Our bass player, Ray Algio. We're just going to play music from when we were kids.
Yeah.
He says it every gig. And sing along with us.
And it feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
To say that I'm not, all right, geez, hey, what new song just came out? What new Katy Perry song? And this is no offense to anybody who's playing this music at all. But, what new pop song just came out that we need to play because it's going to be expected? We can say, hey, let's play that Andrew Gold song because no one else is playing that song. Let's play Love is Alive from Gary Wright,
Let's do that.
All that stuff. And to be excited about the music and to look forward to, you go down the set list and go, oh my God, I can't wait till we play this, as opposed to, geez, Sweet Home Alabama again,
Yeah. And let's be honest, I mean, nobody wants to see an old man up there playing that modern stuff. Quite on. I mean, I don't. So that's why I choose not to.
Yeah, but you're only 16. What are you worried about?
Yeah, exactly. 16.
So let's talk about it. So tomorrow is your birthday.
It is.
Wow.
60.
So you're spending the last days or last hours of your 50s here with me.
I couldn't think of any better way to do it, man. Wow. We go way back, man. We've been friends for a long, long time.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yes.
How did we meet? So you give me your version of how we met.
Well, my memory's it's a little fuzzy, but I remember it was a young lady that I met, and I don't know how we met, probably through music somehow. What was her name?
Ingrid Henderson.
That's right. Ingrid Henderson. Somehow.
Now you hear the word, I'm sorry, you hear the name Ingrid Henderson, and if you probably have an image in your head of what an Ingrid Henderson what might look like, and you would be wrong.
I don't even know what ever happened to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had some songs, some very nice songs.
Yeah, she did. Really cool songs.
That drew me in and drew you in, and that's how we met, right?
Well, yeah. So the deeper piece of that is that I had been doing recording with Barry Seaver.
Barry.
Right. What? Sell your drums. Why are you even playing? What's the point of this? Do us all a favor. Stop playing. Just stop playing.
I love that guy.
Barry was a trip. Barry is a trip. But Barry had a studio called Artisan Productions, and when I moved back here from Boston, he was one of the first guys that I met, and he brought me into his house and said, "I've got all this stuff going on. I've got clients. I've got my own original music. You can do your music. It was just like this giant collective of stuff, and we were just making music. I'd come down." I'd drive there almost every day. This is back when I even had a day job. At the end of the night, I'd drive to Owings Mills to his house.
Did you used to wear a tie?
For a period, I did, yeah. And then I finally I made it up a little bit high enough that I said I can wear just a nice shirt and jeans. But yes, I did have to wear a tie. I used to wear suspenders, cufflinks, all that. I was a total dweeb.
I remember.
Oh my God. Oy, I'm like as if I'm not anymore. But I would go there and we would make, you never really knew. And so some days I'd show up there and Barry would say, "Okay, today we're going to work on this song for this client." And I think he may have given me a little advance notice and said, "I've got this new client, this gal named Ingrid Henderson, and she writes this really interesting, cool stuff that I think you're going to really dig and be able to get into it. It's got an edge to it. It's not necessarily heavy, but it's heavy-ish, and it has an edge, and it's, what, like later on when Fiona Apple came out, I kind of likened that. I would put them in the same bucket.
Yeah.
What was that? There was a gal named something Bonham, Tracy Bonham, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Chapman.
What? Tracy Chapman?
That's a different person. That was I'm in the car.
Right. But there was a Bonham, huh?
Yeah, there was a Bonham, right? Because everybody Bonham, all that. So I would put Ingrid Henderson's music in that kind of a bucket. And that's where we met, because I showed up and Barry said, "And this is the drummer on the session. This is LATHAN RITTER." And so it didn't take long at all for us to figure out that we had a mutual love of King's X. That came up very quickly. And meeting someone who likes King's X is very rare. So I was like, well, this guy's a friend for life. I don't care what, I don't care what this guy does or says. This is my buddy. And we made some really cool, I remember the first song we did was a song called Pickle.
Yeah. It's all coming back.
Yeah. And I have that stuff. We had talked about possibly, getting me to pull this stuff out on cassette, digitize it, and be able to play it. And I wasn't able to do that. But
you're going to have to do that sometime.
Yeah.
Because I would like to hear it again.
It's really, I just remember it being very cool. So, but again, this is now almost 30 years ago. So it'll be interesting to hear what our take is on it now. I'm sure we'll just do we'll completely cut ourselves, you gotta hear I played that, gee whiz.
Yeah,
all that
listen to that. I could have done something.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I remember from that was thinking, oh, wow, okay, this guy LATHAN, man, he can hold it together. He's a solid drummer. And here's the thing, and I was going to get into this a little bit later, but I'll talk about it now. One of the things that I think is one of the hallmarks of your playing is how you play hi-hat. You have a very unique way of playing hi-hat. And you know me, I'm a drummer, so I pick up on these things. And you have this thing, the way you can tell just from watching how you play, but obviously when you're doing this with your arm, it's going to affect how your stick hits the hi-hat. And it gives it a very your hi-hat is never washy. It's always and then you'll put a beat behind it, a fat, but that hi-hat is almost like a drum machine. It's so precise.
Interesting.
The way that's always been my take on it, and when I would, with the handful of gigs that we've done together, you know, I would always kind of turn back and watch your hi-hat and watch what you're doing, because sometimes you'll go a little ahead, you pull it back a little bit, as a good drummer should. It should have some life. It should feel organic and natural. And that's the thing that I think about the most when I think about your playing. And do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've tried to work on getting a little looser with that hand, you know, instead of not being so. And I've worked on it with Grant Menifee, who, you know, everybody knows who Grant is. I've studied under him a couple of times, and I mean, it just is. It is what it is. That's how I play, and I've tried to loosen it up a little bit, and you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but that's how I play.
So you want it to be looser. You don't want it to be as rigid.
I would like it to be a little looser.
Okay.
But I watch when I, you know, videos and stuff, and I see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, it is what it is.
I think it's part of your voice. You know, I would say that every drummer I play with has their voice.
Yeah.
John Davis has a voice that is all his own. Tom Moon has a voice that is all his own. And you have that voice. Joe D'Amico has that voice, and that's what it should be. They should all, every drummer, every musician should have, I think, their own voice. And, you know, I think I've shared this with you before, that one of my pet peeves about drummers, especially like kind of local drummers, is polite drumming. Okay. You go see a really like well-intentioned cover band who's kind of doing the whole soup to nuts thing. They play a little bit of everything. And the drums, and a lot of times, and these are very well-intentioned drummers who are playing like, right? Okay. And the drums are, you know, everybody's got these little drums now, and they have very polite sounding drums.
Yeah.
Right. And I get what they're going at. They're trying not to be the obnoxious drummer who blasts through and isn't listening to dynamics or anything like that. So that's what I mean when I say they're well-intentioned. I get what they're going for, but sometimes it just leaves me feeling like it's a little sterile. And I like a drummer who plays with some personality to it and has a voice that makes you go, huh, that's not something you hear every day.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff that when I think about like all my favorite drummers to play with, it's that they're bringing something interesting in, that they've either, listen, whether they did it intentionally, you know, whether with your hi-hat thing, whether you did that intentionally and 30 years ago you go, hey, this is unique and I like this and I'm going to do this, or whether it just showed up that way. I think that's kind of what we're all shooting for, to have something that is a signature component to our playing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's funny. I go back to my early playing days, you know, because I don't, you know, I'm not a very flashy kind of guy. You know, I don't twirl my drumsticks and, you know, and do this kind of, you know, all this stuff that people like to do.
Yeah.
I just play the songs, you know, and I play them. I'll learn them to a certain extent, and then I'll just sort of put my flavor to it, like you were talking about. I remember way back in the day, when I was playing with a band called Nemesis with my good friends Ricky Dean and Billy Rathel. Just the three of us. We played a lot of Rush. There's the other thing, you know. There's the other technical stuff that my playing is that guy. But and we would play.
I'm sure it's still up.
And you know, I mean, me just being a single kick guy, I mean, I could play the Rush to a certain extent. Then I would have to add my own flair to it when he started doing his double bass patterns.
I am kind of flipping out here because I'm not seeing.
Did we lose it?
I am not. Oh, there we go. Okay. I hope that didn't go away. Hope you guys can still. All right. So anyway.
But anyway, like they fired me because I'll never forget Ricky Dean telling me, like, you never play the same thing twice. Right? And I'm like, that's right. I don't.
Right.
So anyway, that was that's kind of a funny thing.
Why don't I have a volume control here? So One thing I asked Lathan to do was to put together a list. I did this for my girlfriend years ago. I put together when we were just starting to get to know each other, and I wanted her to get to know me better. And I put together a list of music that is the music I'm most passionate about, that really I think it defines a big part of my personality. And I called it the DNA list because it's like my musical DNA. And so I made this list, and it's the Dave list. So I asked Lathan to put together a DNA list of the music that made him who he is and what he is. And does he ever stop talking and just play? Okay. And so Lathan gave me this list of really cool songs that are meaningful to him that we're going to talk about. It's just as it kind of comes up here, we're going to talk about it. And so this is going to be playing in the background, and wherever appropriate, he's going to stop and just, so and you didn't necessarily put this song on there, but you listed this album.
Not necessarily this song, but I used to play along with these two records in my bedroom after school every day. Just, put the record player on, drop the needle, and just get behind my drums and just play it from start to finish.
Right.
All four sides. Right.
So this is Ted Nugent's Double Live Gonzo, which came out in 77, 78, somewhere thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I used to do back, getting out of high school. I used to jump off the bus and run right into the house.
Right.
And start getting on the neighbors' nerves.
Yeah.
Until my parents got home.
Right.
Every day.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Now that brings up a point that I wanted to talk about. So, when we were kids, we studied drummers. And we were really fortunate to grow up in an age where, like we were talking about earlier, drummers had personalities in their playing. And you could put on REO Speedwagon album. You knew Alan Gratzer's sound. You knew Myron Grombacher from Pat Benatar. You knew Matt Frenette from Loverboy. They all had like a sound. And of course, John Bonham, Bill Bruford, Pure, all those guys, all the heavyweights. But you had all these other drummers that maybe weren't as well known, but we would know them because of Modern Drummer magazine and things like that. But the drummers had personalities, and we would study those things. Okay, it wasn't just like now where a lot of stuff is programmed, so everything kind of sounds the same. No one's drums anymore have a unique sound. Like you can't say, used to be able to say the Bill Bruford snare sound, the John Bonham kick sound, and a handful of Michael DeRozier's toms.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Right?
There's a guy.
Yeah. But now you can't say it. I mean, I would love to have like a 20-something drummer in here now and have them say and ask them, what drummers do you like and what is it you like? And even wonder if they even are thinking that about drums and sounds and tones and playing. Is that your phone?
Yeah, I would bet you that these 20-something drummers are listening to the old drummers that we listen to.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of the metal drummers are listening to Portnoy, and they're listening to Matt Halpern from Periphery, and they were listening to Joey Jordison, and all the really technical, super great metal drummers. But I guess the point I was getting at is that when we were kids, we would listen to this stuff, we would dissect it, and we would take the parts of it that we liked, and we would try to emulate it in our playing. We're playing along with the albums. We try to tune our drums to sound like them. I'll never forget when I got my drums. I wanted them. It's funny. I got a Roger Taylor Ludwig kit, but I wanted it to sound like Phil Rudd from AC/DC. So I can't tell you how long trying to tune the drums to get that. And then you realize, it took me years to realize I was never going to get that sound in my basement, because that was done in a studio where, the mic that's, on the kick drum is like costs as much as a car. Yeah. So you just weren't ever going to get that, but we still kept trying. And so, I guess I was going to ask you, what your take is on all that. And like you said, it's.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's my first view into drumming and was Peter Criss.
Yeah.
Right. I was 1976. I was 12 years old, and that's when Kiss was in their heyday.
Right.
Doing the bicentennial thing. I mean, Peter Criss was my god until I heard Rush.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everything changed. Everything changed. I remember I was sitting. I had a friend of mine, Mark Rosinski, lived just down the street. He had an older brother that we would be sitting in the basement just hanging out, and his brother would be upstairs on his parents' console, like jamming out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's where I heard Foghat for the first time, you know, that live album with the cutout, big LIV cutout, right?
Right.
That's where I heard that for the first time. And he's got All the World's a Stage kicking one day. And I'm like, you know, I'm Peter Chris Kiss. I'm thinking, what is that? Who is that? Right? And it was All the World's a Stage. And so I'm like, all right, so I got to find out. I've got to go out and run out and find out who this guy is.
His solo on what song is the solo in on that album?
Working Man.
Oh, it was in Working Man. Okay, that solo in Working Man. It's, you know, you compare it to Exit Stage Left, which is a very polished, very refined solo. It's been honed over years and years. And there are elements, obviously, you know, the stuff he does on the high toms, there are elements that carry over, but it's so much more raw, and he's younger, and he's beating the hell out of the drums. And it's really great to hear that evolution. And it's only 76 to 81. It's only 5 years, you know. But when you're touring and you have that opportunity for growth like that, because you're doing 200 dates a year or whatever they were doing.
And I took that. At that time, I was in the jazz band, the stage band, what they called back in high school. So, and we used to play every year, the end of the year concert, and everybody. And that's the thing, like from 7th, 8th, 9th, because I went from, it was junior, senior high school, started in 7th and went all the way to 12th grade, Brooklyn Park Junior, Senior High School. And like every year, like there would be this drummer in the stage band, and they'd do a solo. And I'd be sitting in the audience like, man. And 9th grade is when I was a freshman. I got to be in the stage band, but there was still one drummer ahead of me. And then finally, I think 10th, 11th, 12th grade, you know, I was the guy. I was just the jazz band drummer. And I took things from that solo, right, and worked them in, because the drummer had to do a solo. I don't do solos anymore. I'm not a solo guy. So, but back then, you know, I would do a solo, and I worked that little, the cowbell, ding, 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 ding. But I didn't have like a rack of
6 of them.
You know, I had one, so I had to go on a ding, ding, and then go to the bottom of it, doo, doo,
right,
ding, doo, doo. Right, and I did that, and then I was doing on the toms, you know, that little part that he did on the toms. Everybody went nuts in the auditorium. Everybody went nuts. I have friends that, you know, will talk to me like, and still remember that. My buddy Hank, Henry Mast, Hank Mast. He'll talk to me about it. You know, there's some people that I still keep in touch with that remember that. It was fun back then. Working that stuff into, and you know, you work little bits and pieces and the little things that you do.
Right.
Back then, there was they were called Yesterday and Today before they wound up being YNT.
Right.
A guy named Leonard Hayes. Never heard a single kick like that then, and I still have never heard a single kick like that to this day. That's another one of my influences.
For those who, and I know we're being very drummer centric right now, and you know we will.
You gotta be,
but you know, but for those who don't know, the thing with Leonard Hayes is, so we've all seen double bass, right? 2 basses, 2 bass drums, or a double pedal, or whatever, and allows you to play very fast, like that. And Leonard was doing all that stuff with 1 bass drum, and Bonham did that stuff too, but Leonard had a different take on it, totally different take on it. And the first time you played that stuff for me, I just didn't understand.
It's jaw dropping.
Yeah. And yet he, you know, I subscribed to Modern Drummer for a real long time. I never saw him in that magazine.
Right.
I mean, you tell me if you saw him, but
no. And here's the thing. We used to have a little record store up on 10th Avenue, Penny Lane Records. I used to walk up there when I wasn't playing my drums after school. And I walked in there one day, and it was just used records, you know, and they had imports. You know, I got a couple of Rush bootlegs out of there, but I walked in there one day, and he had, it was the Struck Down album playing. I'm walking around, you know, looking through stuff, and I'm hearing this, and it's, I'm like, wait a second, here we go again. Who's that? Right. And he goes, that's yesterday and today, and I'm like, okay. And I bought that album, then and there, took it home, and I mean that guy, right up there with Neil as far as an influence of mine. One of the biggest influences that I have is Leonard Hayes from yesterday and today. Yeah.
There were so many great. I mean, we could spend the whole time talking about very idiosyncratic drummers, and the one guy that comes to mind for me is Nigel Olsson.
Yeah,
in the early Elton John stuff.
Right.
Amazing. He was for me when I was a kid, and I'm talking 2-3 years old. I picked up on it was Carl Palmer and Nigel Olsson were my main two drummers, and I can't tell you how many times with my cardboard box drum kit I played along to the entire Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. And he just has such a unique feel. Nobody sounds like Nigel Olsson, and it was a combination of his feel and the way he tuned his drums and his overall approach. He was a very melodic, tuneful player. Now, speaking of Peter Criss, all right, you are going to listen to how he freaking swings later on in this song. This is a song called Watching You. This is from the Alive 1 album. For one thing, this is like the just meanest sounding Kiss tunes ever.
It's a good one.
But there's a thing that happens later where every time someone slags Peter Criss for whatever reason, I'm like, have you listened to this?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like Beavis and Butthead right now. Look at yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, he rocks. Yeah.
That's funny.
But
wow.
God, hours playing along to this stuff. God. Let me see, what else did I want to touch on with you here? Oh yeah. So, I've always known you to play drums that are either vintage drums, actual vintage drums, or vintage inspired drums. So to my knowledge, like you've never had like, the Yamaha recording custom or like the latest DW kit. You've always favored those. And talk about what motivates your choices for drums.
Not being able to afford them.
You heard it live and honest, folks. That's right.
No, I mean, I can remember when I bought my first kit with my own money. It was Pearl.
Yeah.
It was a Pearl kit, an export.
Mm-hmm.
Not a high dollar kit, but I mean, I was pretty happy with those. And then from there, I don't know. I've always been. I mean, I guess it's just from listening to the old drummers.
Yeah.
I've always been a vintage kind of guy.
It's the sound. It's that sound.
I love them. I got my vintage Ludwigs with the Baltimore bass drum that was custom made to match them, but they're old gold. The gold badge.
Yeah. Here's the part. Right here. Swinging like a.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
You know what I mean? Listen, I know he wasn't Neil. He wasn't Danny Carey. I get it. But what he did, man,
I remember seeing something. I forget what song it was, but it was like the guy was like, I'm pretty sure it was Peter Criss. That like, if you can do this for like 5 minutes, maybe it was Ringo Starr. I think that's what I'm thinking about. It was Ringo Starr. That you could do this for like 3-4 minutes straight.
Yeah.
There's another drummer.
Yeah.
This lost my train. Oh, yeah. I've always been a vintage kind of guy. Played those gold sparkles for the long. I mean, I went from the Pearl to the gold sparkles. Played them for a long time. And I was just able later in life to get my BDs.
Yeah. And they sound vintage.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So that's
but I'm
cool.
really happy with those. Drums.
It's funny. I have a lot of different basses that do different things, different sounds, different textures, 12-string, 4-string, fretless, whatever. Okay. But I have one drum set. You know why I have one drum set? Because I got the one that works for me.
Right.
I had that kit made for me when I was 14 years old. It's right over there.
It's right over there.
I still use it. It's the only drum kit I'm ever going to need because it's exactly what I need a drum set to do. Vintage Ludwigs. At the time, they weren't vintage, but modeled after Roger Taylor's kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
what a player that guy was.
yeah.
I mean, he just you didn't even realize what he was doing with Queen.
Yeah.
Really. June. Love this song. Spock's Beard.
For those who don't know, Spock's Beard is a really cool, like I would say, nouveau progressive band. I mean, they've been around since the 90s, but they were taking the Genesis thing and putting their spin on it, making it a little heavier, a little more modern, but taking it beyond that. And, you know, the main guy, Neil Morse, at the time, is just a genius.
He really is.
He's just a genius.
He's just a genius.
And prolific. The guy puts out, I don't know how many albums the guy has put out just since the time he's left Spock's Beard, with all of his various bands, and they're all good. They're always all good.
He's got Transatlantic.
Right.
He's got, and all of them have another thing in common. It's Mike Portnoy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, so he's got the Neil Morse band, and then he puts out stuff just under Neil Morse, I think. And he's got a new thing that I just saw.
He does.
That
I think the Resonance. Neil Morse and the Resonance
something.
Band.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. I'm going to find out.
The guy just
Flying Colors.
Flying Colors. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
But I went off the deep end with Spock's Beard. I mean, I lived, breathed, and everything for a long time with that band because I couldn't get enough of them. Just same thing with King's X.
Yeah.
You know, when I first heard it, and I gotta tell you, I got my good buddy Mo. You remember Mo?
Of course, I remember Mo.
He's the one who turned me on to King's X. He's the one who turned me on to Spock's Beard. He just, he would be just listening to all kinds of obscure stuff.
Yeah.
And I would latch on to some of it, not all of it, but some of it. I don't know where he's at these days.
Didn't he move away or something?
Yeah, he did. One of the Carolinas, but I don't know. He used to keep in touch with my friends Bill and Natalie, but he doesn't do that anymore. So I don't know. Hopefully he's still with us. That guy. I miss that guy. Rob Smith, Mo, wherever you're at, call me.
Oh, his name is Rob Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, where's Mo? What's
Mohawk.
Oh, okay. Mohawk.
That was his name. Everybody. I don't know how he got Mohawk.
Okay.
Mohawk was his nickname, and everybody. I just called him Mo.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I was introduced to him as Mo. So
Right.
I thought his name was literally, his parents said,
Hey, Mo!
I baptized thee Mo in the name of the Father and Son.
Robert Smith. How do you like that?
Yeah. And from that, it devolved into Mo.
Yeah.
That's fine. But, so that's one thing that I think we all have in common is that we all had someone or a bunch of someones in our lives who introduced us to new music.
Yeah.
And they had no idea at the time what an impact that was going to have on us. Okay. I'll tell you, my King's X story is very similar to your Y&T story. I had read about them remember Rip magazine? It was like a metal magazine.
Like Kerrang kind of sort of thing.
Exactly. And I had read about them, and the description was Beatles harmonies with Metallica guitar riffs and really cool songwriting and Christian lyrics and all this cool stuff. And I thought, this sounds like something I might dig. And the bass player plays a 12-string bass. And I was like, oh, awesome. I got to hear this. And one day I was up in New Hampshire. This is when I was living in Boston. I was up in New Hampshire for whatever reason. And I walked into a record store and I said to the guy, hey, the guy behind the counter, have you heard of this band King's X? I'm hearing a lot about them. And he goes, yeah. He goes, this is their new album. It just came out. It was Gretchen. And he said, I'll put it on and play it for you. And he put it on, and I'm just shopping, and I'm listening to it, and 3-4 songs. I don't understand why, but it didn't grab me at all. Didn't do anything for me.
I'm the same way.
I don't understand why. So I'll fast forward, all right? So I just said, well, okay, this looked good on paper, but not a band I'm going to be really into. And so fast forward to the next album comes out, Faith, Hope, Love, and they play We Were Born to Be Loved on MTV Headbangers Ball, right? And I'm like, my world was, it's literally, there's 2 points in my life: before hearing that song and after hearing that song. I was completely changed. And I'm going, how could what did they do between these 2 albums?
Yeah.
That, you know, so I went out the next day, bought Faith, Hope, Love, came home, listened to it, and literally had my DNA altered.
That's
Just
my favorite. That's my favorite. Faith, Hope, Love. I mean, it's so good.
It's insanely good. And so then I went back and I said, all right, let me check out that Gretchen album again. Put it on, loved it.
Right.
Loved it. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? This is a great album. And then I went back and got the first album. And the first album was very solid as well. And then from there on out, you know, it's just been King's X all day, all the time.
Yeah, we were, Mo and I forget who, I think Joe Hickman was there, an old friend of mine. We were on vacation in Delaware, out on Rehoboth Beach.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And he had one of those big boom, remember those boom boxes had giant speakers? Plopped it down into Sandman and Sandman. Plopped it down into Sandman and put Gretchen. No, I don't think it was the first 2. It was the first album, Out of the Solid Planet, and Gretchen. That's the 2 that were out at the time. Faith, Hope, Love wasn't out yet. And he just, I mean, it was on 10. And I'm thinking about, you know, sitting in the stand. I'm looking around and all these people are like, it was really irritating to all these people because it was on 10, right? And Mo don't care. He didn't care. He was just, we're sitting there on the beach. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not sure about this. I don't know about this. I mean, it was like you.
Right.
And then, you know, we go home and then Faith, Hope, Love comes out. And I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You know, what happened?
Right.
Why didn't I dig that? But yeah, I mean, yeah, Faith, Hope, Love is the pinnacle of
it. Really. Well, for me too, I will say, you know that, and I know we disagree on this, but Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous.
Yeah,
God, I love that album. That album.
There's 3 that I can't. That one. There's 3 in a row. Black Sunday?
Black Like Sunday.
I don't know about that one. And then was it Manic Moonlight?
Manic Moonlight, yeah.
There's a couple songs on there I dig.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3, you know, I could take or not. But.
God, well, that Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous came out, like, I think it was on my birthday. And I got it, took it home, put it on, and was just like, because by this point, we'd all been conditioned to know that whatever this is, I don't know what this is, it's not going to sound like the previous album.
Right. It's
just not. So you're putting it in, and you're just blank slate. No idea what I'm about to hear. And it was so dark and weird. The bass tones were different. The drums, everything sounded different. And it was a good different. And I became insane about that album. To this day, I can only listen to it once a year. I listen to it once a year on my birthday, every year. If I listen to it more than that, I get weird.
But there's Faith, Hope, Love, King's X, and Dogman.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't get much better than those 3.
Yeah.
And this right here.
Right. Yeah, well, that's on. When we get into the Dream Theater.
Images and Words. There's another one. Genius.
Yeah.
Pure genius. And this song gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I got them right now.
Mm.
Is it the alto sax? It's an alto sax at the end of this song?
Yeah. What's his name? It's somebody we all know is playing on that. I can't remember his name. So as great as this album is, and I love this album, the album that really, really, really got me insane for this band was the next album, Awake. From the first drum fill of 6/8
Christmas morning.
I was like, oh my God, Erotomania and The Lie or whatever that.
Hold on. Can we just listen to this?
Yeah.
Listen to this, folks.
Oh, right.
It's just lovely.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but somebody we all know is playing that saxophone.
And I know I turned my good friend Patty Rosenberger onto this album, and she loves it too.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, here we go. So here's the King's X. This would have been on the first album, Out of the Silent Planet.
Yeah. This.
And Yeah. What does this song do? What does this mean to you?
It means a lot to me. I mean, I love this song. Another one that just gives me goosebumps every time I hear it, man. I don't know. It's the bigness of it, and then it comes back down, and Doug starts singing, and then it gets big again. But and I know Sherry, this means a lot. Here we go. Sherry and I first started dating. I took her to. We went to Bertha's. Remember Bertha's in Fells Point? On Tuesday nights, they used to have a jazz band, Paul Wingo.
Yeah.
The Paul Wingo Trio.
Great band.
Chuck Carner on drums. Guy used to just floor me every time I saw him. Paul Wingo, and I'm not sure who the bass player was, but he played a stand-up bass. And I remember seeing him on TV. He played for Tony Bennett. Right? I remember seeing him on TV. I'm like, that's the guy in Paul Wingo's band. But anyway, I took Sherry there to listen to some jazz one night, and this was our first date, by the way, our first date. And on the way home, taking her back to her house, I put this song on, and I got it right to the right volume where I could just sing along with it, and I just sang it to her. And yeah, that's what it means to me.
Wow.
And I can sing this song pretty good. At least I used to be able to. I'm not sure anymore, but yeah, I can sing this song pretty good.
You got some rasp. You've got. What songs do you sing in Fizz?
Gee whiz, I sing "Hot Child in the City."
Wow. Nick Gilder.
I sing. What's that grassroots tune we do? See, here's the people ask what kind of songs do you do. What songs do you do? What songs do you cover? I don't know.
I know.
Right.
Why
do you draw a blank every time that happens?
And the band I do it with all the time is HFS, okay, which is probably the band I get. I did it with Tom Petty Band. One of my students said, "What songs do you play other than the hits and all that?" Couldn't name a one. Yeah, play with this band 40 times a year. Can't think of these songs. What is that? At least I have an excuse. I got 19.
Give me some help.
Anybody
out there know what songs I sing?
Hey, by the way, there should be a chat.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a chat thing right here. Nobody's chatting. So if you have something that you'd like to ask Lathan or me,
nobody's even watching. There probably ain't nobody watching.
No,
this.
Look, there is. Look, there's. We got that. We got.
Okay.
Okay. So no, people are talking. Richard Sharon.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, if there's something you want to, if you want to take it, if you want to derail us from all of our geeky band stuff and drums, Hey, I'll tell you. So we did get a question that came in. Keith Jones.
We did? Where'd that come in?
He texted me.
Okay.
And he said, ask Lathan, and I don't know anything about what this is.
God.
He goes, ask Lathan about the time that you asked him to join a KISS tribute band. I think he means me. And I don't ever recall asking you to join a KISS tribute band because I never joined a KISS tribute band.
Ask Lathan about the time you asked me to join a KISS tribute band?
Read it, make sure I got it right. Okay. Ask Lathan about the time you asked him to join a KISS band. So Keith, I think you clearly know the answer to this question. So you need to tell us what this was about if you're tuned in, because neither of us have any recall on what this would have been about.
Badfinger. I sing Badfinger.
Oh, okay. And KISS, Paper Lace. Paper Lace is.
Oh, there's some more. Paper Lace.
That's
the night Chicago died.
Chicago died. Right.
Redbone, yeah. Come and Get Your Love. I do a hard luck woman. Bee Gees.
Okay.
Me and Ray sort of go back on the Bee Gees.
So our good buddy Bill asks, "What is your favorite song to sing while drumming?"
Favorite song to sing while drumming? Huh. I don't know that I have a favorite song to sing while drumming because it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Hard Luck Woman. I enjoy singing, playing that. Jackie Blue, there's another one.
Jackie Blue, that's a great song.
Who's Mocker 9091, by the way? Identify yourself.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Yeah. Go all the way.
Go all
from,
the way. Raspberries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Todd Rundgren.
So,
Yes.
all right. So you feel free to just shut me down on this. Okay. Do you want to talk about this?
Sure, I do. I do. So everybody knows I'm a Rush fan since I was 12, right? 19. I want to go back to the when I heard All the World's a Stage. That came out in 76.
Yeah.
76.
No,
76 was 2112. All the World's a Stage was
also 76.
Okay, yeah, 76.
Yeah.
So I probably heard it closer to sometime in 77, probably closer to 78, right? And I was 64, 74, like 14 years old, listening to Rush, loving Rush since I was 14. This song was on All the World's a Stage. It's called Lakeside Park. It was off Caress of Steel, which is their third album, right?
Yep.
What, that was seven came out in 74?
75.
75? Okay. But I've been listening to this song since I was 14 years old. And fast forward to 2005, my mother got really sick and she eventually passed away. I was talking to, so I don't know who I was talking to on the phone, but I was obviously talking to somebody and telling them, hey, you know, my mom just passed away and it's the 24th of May. And I'm like, whoa. Because if you listen, coming up very shortly, the 24th of May is referenced in this song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the year 2005, how many years later, my mother passes away on the 24th of May. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about
I remember
that.
when that happened.
But here it is. Here's the lyric. And I try to play this song every year on the 24th of May. But here we go, folks. Listened to this song since I was 14, and my mom passes away in the year 2005 on the 24th of May. Is that crazy?
It's insane.
And a little bit further, I'll tell you that when she was in the hospital getting ready to go, you all know when people were getting ready to go, they get the breathing or whatever. My brother and I, Sean and I had to go take care of some formalities at the funeral parlor, you know, pick out a casket and all that stuff. And she was going, and my aunt calls and said, "You boys, you better come back. You better get back to the hospital fast, because we think your mom." And my mom held on until me and my brother got back to the hospital. As soon as we walked in to the room and everybody said, "Hey, they're here," she went. She waited for us, for my brother and I, to get back to the room before she passed away. Anyway, that's going to get me going when I listen to.
Man, that's heavy. That is really heavy.
Yeah, pretty heavy.
It just so happens that's my birthday, by the way, May 24th.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to bring it down, but it's a good thing to think about.
Yeah,
on that day.
It is. And listen, whenever a song like that has that kind of meaning, that it's unmistakable. You know, I mean, that kind of meaning, where something lines up chronologically like that, you know, I don't know, it makes you want.
It does.
You could get really deep on this, and you know, and I'm sure.
But I mean, 1976, 86, 96, 2006. That's 30 years,
right,
of listening to a song that calls out the day your mom passes away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Hey, Alcatraz.
So
Keith Malmsteen.
Right. We'll talk about that.
This album blew me away too, man.
So Keith gave us some clarification.
Okay.
He meant to say that one day.
What's he talking into his phone?
I guess. Let me do it on here where it's not gonna. Yeah. He said, I meant to say that one day they didn't said you asked him to join a Kiss band. That was way back when. I'm sorry if you don't remember that, but I do. I would not put it out there for you to put it on live. It's all good. Great show. Love you guys. Okay.
I don't know.
Could you? Okay.
No,
yeah.
I have no idea.
One day, one day they said, didn't you ask him to join a Kiss band? Okay. Sorry, buddy. We have no recall. I'm not saying it didn't happen. All I'm saying is we have no recall on that. So, but yeah, then this band, Alcatraz, man, what a band this was. So this was Yngwie's. No, Steeler was first.
Yes.
And then this.
Yes.
And then
correct.
he went solo. So, but of course, Alcatraz later famously went on to have Steve Vai in the band. But is Graham Bonnet on this album?
Graham Bonnet's on all of them.
Okay.
Graham Bonnet's on this one, No Parole from Rock and Roll with Yngwie. Then, yeah, right. And I remember sitting in my buddy Bill Raphael's car with a cassette tape of this, listening to this, thinking, God.
And you know what I hear? I hear this. Obviously, I'm not saying he doesn't have his own style, but I hear Uli John Roth playing Sales of Sharon.
Right.
He pulled so much from that, and he's open about that, obviously.
And I mean, this first album was like nothing. It was like the first of its kind as far as just kind of ripping on guitar. And then he kept with it and went solo and kept doing his thing. But then Disturbing the Peace with Steve Vai.
Yeah.
Jeez, good Lord.
That album's insane.
It's insane. And Graham Bonnet might be my favorite hard rock vocalist of all time. I think he is.
He's got, and talk about you going back to talking about musicians who have their own voice, and then you get a guy like Graham Bonnet who he's unmistakable.
That's right.
It's like listening to Robert Palmer or somebody. You know that voice when you hear it. So. Yeah, this was a really interesting time for hard rock and metal because we're starting to hear these sort of neoclassical influences coming in, and you had Steve Vai obviously fresh out of the Zappa thing, and had him put out his own albums. Or I guess by the time he joined, so he would have had just one album out, 2 if you count Leftovers, before he joined Alcatraz. But then Yngwie,
who. Who were you just talking about?
I was talking about Steve Vai.
Gotcha.
When he came out of Zappa.
What about that Flexible?
That's the one. That's the Flexible album. Yeah. And then he put out an album called Flexible.
Look, I'm going like this because I had it on the cassette tape.
Yeah. That album for me is is absolutely one of my most influential albums. And everybody thinks about Steve Vai as this guy that does all this. For me, it's always been about compositionally where he comes from, because he's got so much of that Zappa DNA in him. And
Iron Maiden.
Iron
Maiden. Iron Maiden. This is a song Iron Maiden.
So this stuff always makes me, all right, what are we going to name this song? I don't know. What are we called again? Iron Maiden. All right, let's call it Iron Maiden. But wait, we got to call the first album something. How about Iron Maiden?
How about it?
Iron Maiden plays Iron Maiden from Iron Maiden. And how many other bands did that? So you had Bad Company, had whose song? This is a great trivia question for everybody. Okay, hey, we'll do that for the tickets.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Okay.
So we have a trivia thing here. Lathan scored today a pair of tickets to see Herbie Hancock at the Lyric. I unfortunately cannot go because I have a gig. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow will be.
It's tomorrow. The concert's tomorrow.
And so I can't use them. He can't use them. So we thought we'd put them up for grabs for anybody who wants them here. So name a band. Here's the question. Name a band other than Iron Maiden, and Bad Company. Was that album called Bad Company also?
There's one, yeah.
Okay, maybe we got a Bad Company. Name another band that had, and it may not be all 3, where it's the band name is the album name is the song name, but how many other bands can you think of that had a song that was the name of their band?
And if you guess it and get it right, you got to be able to use the tickets. I'm not going to give them to anybody that can't go tomorrow.
And, it's funny because you think, what if other bands had gone by that? What if Led Zeppelin had put out a song called Led Zeppelin? What would that sound like, Led Zeppelin, or if Rush had a song called Rush. Or Van Halen. had a song called Van Halen.
Now I'm trying to win my own tickets.
Right. So if you can think of it, so and we have some comments here. Let's see what we got here. Okay.
Lovers Are Crazy. Thy solo is magnificent. You got that right.
Oh yeah.
Stankowicz.
Yeah.
What was it? Salamander? Is there a salamander?
Salamanders in the Sun. Yeah, that was Alcatraz, I think.
That's Steve Vai.
Yeah. Right.
On the Flexible album, right?
Right.
There was one. It was his stuff. A lot of stuff on that was just no singing, but there's one on that Flexible album that didn't have any singing. It was like just kick ass. Do you remember?
The Attitude song.
That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm hoping that shows up in one of my weirdo bands.
Yeah.
Either in
it should. You should take it there, man.
Yeah. So well, that's all right. So let's see. I have a whole bunch of other questions to get to here.
Yeah, we haven't
we haven't touched it. Okay. So this is a little bit of a different topic. I think maybe some folks will be able to relate to this one. Have you noticed a difference Have you noticed a difference in fans' interaction with bands since COVID?
What do you
like in terms of just whether do you feel that that you get more interaction, like and this could be either while you're playing or it could be afterwards when people would come up and try to talk to you, and even on Facebook.
Now that you say so, I think it's more.
Yeah,
I think it's more since COVID. That's odd, isn't it?
It is, but my guess as to why that is that because they were denied music for so long, for however long that was, 2 years, something like that. And when they came back, they were like, "You're never taking this away from me again," and I got time to make up for here, and that's what they did.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I've noticed a real uptick in fan interaction, and it hasn't stopped. I mean, we've been back gigging now for 2 years, I guess, and in my experience, it hasn't stopped. To me, it seems like the average audience member, like, being able to go see our bands in all these different weird venues we play, it means so much to them. That's the takeaway I get. People will come up and they will take time to tell you how much this means to them, that you're playing, that you're out there doing this, and what it means to them. And it's moving. It's really moving.
He still has it. The Mocker 90, 91, they're having a watch party in Florida. Who are you? Is that Hank?
And what's a watch? Does that mean you have? Hey,
they're watching.
Oh, I thought you meant like, hey, let me see your watch.
I don't have
a watch party. Hey, I got to.
Let's see what's going on. One after 9:09. Norm. Oh, it's Norm.
Norm.
It's Norm.
Norm.
Okay.
How's it going today, Norm? It's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
Norm. Okay, the Florida thing just kicked in, pal. I'm a little slow. Black Sabbath, but I can't use the tickets. There you go. Black Sabbath.
Oh, right. There you go. Yes. Wait, they have a song called Black Sabbath?
Did they? I don't know.
Black Sabbath.
Did they?
I don't know. Let me pull it up. They have a song called...
You might be wrong, Norm. The price is wrong, Norm.
Let me see if there's a song called Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath.
They had an album.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to go that route, there's a million of those, but I'm going to pull it. If anything, it would be on that first album. So let's go to that first album. There it is. And yes, it's the first song. Okay.
Very good. You can't use the tickets. You're right, because you're in Florida.
Oh, wow.
But there's one.
That's
you
one.
Got it.
You got it. Think of some other ones. Just tell us if you think. You can be the next one.
I wouldn't put it past Norm. He knows everything. He's a musically inclined sumbitch.
Wow. So, this is Spock Spirit, obviously. This was the album that I think put them on the map.
Kindness of Strangers.
for-
No, Day for Night.
Yeah, this is Day for Night. Yeah. So, I got to do a gig with Rio last. Holy crap! It was a year ago tonight.
Really, 27?
No, it was tomorrow. It'll be a year ago tomorrow. Yeah. Wow. Can't believe that was a year ago.
Time flies, man.
So when I walked up, when I was introduced to him, the first thing I said to him was, I was like, Snow completely ripped my head open, which was one of their later albums.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know the beard. I was like, yeah, I know the beard. So that gig was so much fun. No matter where I looked, there was somebody really cool whose albums I own.
Right? That's crazy. I got excited for you for that, man.
That was so bizarre. And I turn around and there's Rio, and I was like, that's that guy, man. So
did you tell him about me, man?
I did.
I got a buddy.
I absolutely did.
Good.
I said how I got into the band, and I mentioned you by name. Absolutely did.
And I also got very excited for you when you got in with the Crack the Sky boys.
Yeah. What a great time that was.
So
It was amazing.
did you not say like you were 7 when their first album came out? Is that something that you mentioned to me?
Yeah, I was 7, which is hysterical when people come up and go, hey man, I loved your playing on that first album. And I'm like, I don't know how to take that, because that either means that I look a whole lot older than what I really am, or
You're doing a fine job.
So yeah, right. Either way, I was 7 when that album came out.
And then you wound up being in the band.
Well, I told you about doing that radio interview that I did, where the guy brought me down to Virginia, put me on the air, and had me play. He told me, he said, bring a stack of CDs, all these CDs that you've played on.
Is that the one where you said, hey, this is Dave DeMarco?
No. That's That's the one on the Eastern Shore that they still play the bumpers for that. Now, this was a station down in Virginia, and I thought something was weird, because he would call me. He called me 2 or 3 times before the interview. He's like, man, I'm so psyched to have you here. I can't believe I'm going to have you in the studio. And I'm going, does this guy think I'm the original? I was like, he can't. Because he was like, he swore that he was the world's biggest Crack the Sky fan, right? So I'm going, he can't know. There's no way that he thinks that I'm the original guy. And so we get there, and second question in. So Dave, tell me what it was like recording Safety in Numbers.
There you go.
And I was like, well, all right, I got to do this. So I said, well, his name was Rusty. Well, Rusty, I'll tell you. There I was playing in the sandbox with my Tonka trucks. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a blue Mercedes pulls up, and out walks this guy, John Palumbo. And he walks up to me and he says, hey, little boy, would you like to go to New York and make an album? And I said, sure, let me go ask my mom. And mom said it was okay as long as I was back within a month. And I got in the car, and that was how I went up to New York, and that's how I played bass on Safety Numbers. Dead silence. He's looking at me like, what the hell? And I have to put him out of his misery at this point, because he looks like he's going to have a contusion. And I said, Rusty, did you think that I'm the original bass? This is on air for everybody to hear. Did you think that I'm the original bass player for Crack the Sky? And he goes, yeah. And I said, Rusty, take the vinyl. He had all his vinyl. Look on the back, okay? Do one of 2 things. If you can find either A, someone who looks like me on the back, or someone named Dave DeMarco on any of those albums, I'll give you $100. He's like, oh, I just thought you were that guy. I'm the hugest fan. I just thought you were that guy. I'm not that guy. But we salvaged it. It was great. He let me play like all these CDs that I played on. It was very.
Did they have a song called The Monkeys?
Oh God, I hope not. Oh, hey, we're the Monkeys. Maybe that one.
Okay.
Hey, we're the Monkeys. Yeah.
She can't use the tickets either,
No,
Ivy.
use the tickets.
Well.
So the next question was.
Yes.
The next question. Oh yeah. So how do you feel about? And this is a highly divisive topic, but how do you feel about everybody having their phones out and recording while you're playing?
I don't mind it because I do it.
Do you really? You're one of those guys?
Well, if you look on my Facebook page
you did.
from
yeah,
ELO.
Yeah. But okay, that's one thing. Okay, you're all the way in the back.
Yeah.
And there's two components to this. The one is the phone bothering the people around you because now they can't see. They have to look over your phone like this.
Yeah.
Or if you're up front, are the musicians on stage being distracted by it?
I can see where I get your point.
Yeah.
I see that. I don't think I'm at the point where anybody's taking videos of me, but maybe they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I see FIZZ videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But so are you aware of in your like the one guy who takes records half a song or whatever, that's fine. But I don't know if you've seen this, but the people who will have their phone out for almost the whole show and they put it like right here. This guy at Riverwatch one night, he literally walked right up to me at the front of the stage and had his phone like this close to my head.
hey, it's your daughter.
Yeah. So whatever song was playing, I was a song that I could play in open A with one hand on, right? And so I took my phone and I put it right in his face, and everybody in the crowd is losing it. They're just
good.
And he stood there like this, trying to be cool for a while. He's like, I guess I'm a jerk. And he walked away.
Yeah, I get it because I'll see those videos and they don't sound very good, right?
Right.
Coming from the phone.
Right.
And I'm cringing. So I probably don't like it.
I don't mind people having a memento of the show, but I guess I just wish that people would just enjoy it and be in the moment.
Yeah.
Just enjoy what you're hearing and get taken away by the music. And I know a lot of people still do, but a lot of people don't. When I went to when I saw Steve Vai and Satriani a couple months ago, and just the whole night, because he's a wizard, I get it, but
that's the day and age we're in, man.
Yeah. And I wish it were different. I wish people, because I feel like there's more of a connection between the band and the audience when they're not watching me through a little rectangle.
I get it.
And then I do find it a little obnoxious when the guys can put it right in the face. And,
that. That's nuts.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know some people don't care a rat's ass about it, and other people are quite. Who's the guy that just instituted the no cell phone policy at his shows? Oh, Tool. They don't allow it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tool. King Crimson didn't.
So what do they take on it from, or you just?
They just say
if
for
you,
Tool,
if
they
you
say,
see it, you're going to get kicked out.
You're out. Yeah. So.
Huh. That's bold.
Yeah. It is. Well.
What's next? What's the next question?
If there's a new song that you're bringing into the band that you're going to sing lead on, do you work out the vocals first and then the drums, or vice versa?
Vocals. I have to figure out if I can sing it first.
Right.
And then I'll try to do this drumming.
Okay.
Because I'll be able to figure out the drums. I just got to figure out if I can sing it first.
Now,
right?
do you do the thing where you're really present for one element of it, the vocals, and the drums are on autopilot, or vice versa, or are you totally in both of them, consciously thinking of both?
I'm in singing the part, singing it correctly.
So you're hoping that the drums take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For instance, we just started playing Is She Really Going Out With Him?
Mm.
And that's a tough song for me to sing and play, man. Right?
Right.
And as much as Ray and Mike love that song and they want to play it every time since we started learning it, it's like, because I'm still trying to get it together.
So that song's your nemesis.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But I think I finally figured it out. And that's the other thing. It takes time. I just gotta keep playing it and singing it, and it'll work its way out. But until that happens, it really gets to me.
Yeah.
Especially when we're out there live, and and I know that I can do it better, and it gets to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Vocals first.
Okay. We talked about how you guys do semi-obscure one-hit wonder songs. What are some other songs that you'd like to bring in that would never fly, that Mike or Ray are going to shoot it down?
I bring them in all the time. I'm constantly sending songs to our we got a little, band messenger thing.
Right.
I'm sending them almost daily, man.
And do they dismiss it?
They don't even respond anymore.
So what songs would you bring in that they would shoot down?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, any I'll hear a 70s tune that I'm like, oh, we should do that one, and I'll shoot it their way, and let me. I'll look at our little thread. We can go back a little ways and see what I got here. I just,
And while you're looking, how democratic would you say the song selection process is? Does the FIZZ set represent truly the three of your interests, or is it leaning towards one guy or the other?
Well, we all have to agree. We all have to agree that that's something that we could probably pull off first of all, and then if it goes in with what we're trying to do, as far as that '70s spiel. And that's the other thing. If I hear a song, I'm just not going to. It's got to be something that I think we could pull off.
Right.
But it's democratic. It's
okay.
democratic. It's democratic.
So what are the songs that got vetoed?
I'm going to have to go back a little ways because I stopped sending them because they're like.
Folks, you're enjoying the sounds of Spock's beard.
Spock's beard.
All right. Well, while you're looking, I got another
What's the next one?
So on breaks, are you more likely to go out and socialize with the crowd, or are you more likely to find a secluded spot where you can just decompress and chill by yourself for a while and recharge your batteries?
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do, because when we're done a set, I'm singing a lot. I sing a lot. I sing a lot of the songs.
Right.
We're trying to spread the wealth as far as singing goes. And then I get out into the crowd, and you got to talk above the noise, and you got to talk above the music that's playing. I got to save my voice.
Right.
But on the other hand, I got to go out, and I feel like I need to socialize and talk to people, and say, hey, I just talk to people.
Yeah.
But there's been times lately where I've tried to just shoogaloo away real quick, sneak away, and just sit down and be quiet.
Yeah.
Because that's what I need to do.
Right.
And people probably don't understand that.
A lot of them don't. It's been my experience because I'm that guy. I'm the majority of the time. I'm the sneak away guy, and it has been brought to my attention that a lot of folks don't understand, and they take it the wrong way.
Right.
That it's a lack of. It is not a lack of desire to socialize. It's more preserving my voice, which is why I like doing these live streams. And for those of you who have tuned into my other live stream adventures, especially like the Q&A, I like it because it is a way to interact with everybody in a way that I'm not screaming, I'm not blowing my voice out, and I'm still getting to know you guys and getting to share in a way that I wouldn't do in a bar. So that's why I like these live streams. Hey, by the way, I'll take this opportunity to make a shameless plug. If you like this kind of thing, I do have more interview guests lined up here. And if you like this kind of thing and would like to see more of this, any donations, like I've done ever since COVID with these live streams, it really helps to offset having a night off from gigging and to make it possible for me to do more content like this. So somewhere in this YouTube thread, if you look in the description, you'll see all of my PayPal, Venmo, stuff like that. Zero obligation. If you feel like throwing a couple shekels in there, it's really super appreciated. Shekels. But regardless, I'm happy that everybody's here. So, okay. So you must. Do you guys share recipes? What is it?
It's been a long time, Ray and Mike, since I suggested a song. I know I sent one tonight, but and that's just it doesn't have any singing in it. The Birds. So you want to be a rock and roll star? Oh
yeah, okay.
And I heard a cover of that. Who did the cover?
Tom Petty.
He did one?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Ask me why I know that.
Because you're in the Tom Petty cover.
Patti
Patty Smith Group did a cover. And I love it. Listen to this. Right?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's cool.
Right? I like the drive
Yeah.
of it.
It's a very drum forward mix.
Yes, and now listen to the.
It's the original. Yeah. Yeah. That's 1970 for you.
But
68.
that's one that I threw out there, and
Yeah.
it just I heard crickets
Right.
about it. But it's been a while since I've suggested a song.
You know, I'll say this. I feel like that song is too mainstream for you
You
guys,
think?
because you guys are really, again, Hot Child in the City. Come on, who's doing that? But a lot of bands, I think, would play that. So you want to, whether it's whoever's version of it. Yeah, I feel like it's almost too mainstream for you guys. Although I'm sure you would kill it. So
Bill's always sending that Cold Ethel suggestion.
what is called? Oh,
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, right.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
Only band that does the Partridge Family. We do the Partridge Family.
We do in the Regal Beagles. We do the Partridge Family.
Yeah. Which one? The song?
Come on, get happy. Do you guys do that?
That's not the one we do, is it? Come on, get happy. No, we do. What do we do? See?
Right. Exactly.
I don't think that's the one we do. What is there another one?
It's not like there's 15. Well, I guess there are a lot of Partridge Family songs. But yeah.
That's not the one we do. I don't think.
Huh.
I Think I Love You.
Oh, right.
Ba, 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 ba,
Charles
ba,
Parker
ba,
does that song. I did that with him.
People love it, man.
Yeah.
What's the other? We do the Monkees. Last Train to Clarksville.
Great song. That's awesome.
That's another one. That's another one that gives me trouble singing and playing. And I think I finally got around to do it. It's tough, man.
Yeah. Wow. It's a great song.
I'm back there working, whether you guys realize it or not.
He's driving the bus. So we talked about your birthday tomorrow, which might be coming. We're not quite tomorrow yet. How do you? This is a little bit of a. We're gonna get deep and personal now,
God.
guys. Okay. How do you reconcile the passing of time?
I don't think I do, because I've been thinking a lot about mortality lately.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I've talked about this to some people. You know, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around one day, like everything's going to go black.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything's going to stop. I will no longer exist. And that it just really, it bugs me. You know, I mean,
yeah. You've only ever known the world with Lathan Ritter in it, and to think that there's going to be a world without Lathan Ritter in it.
Yeah,
that's.
I don't know, man. And then they say, you got to make life what it is,
Right.
Enjoy it. But I mean, you got so many strangleholds, you got to go to freaking work every day,
Right.
You got to pay the bills, you got
Yeah.
bills you got to pay. You can't go and do some of the things that you would like. Like I would like to travel, and here I'm going to be 60 and, thinking about retirement. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do that,
Yeah.
because of, you have to have so many years in and so much time and this and that. And then when, if I can do it at 62, I'm going to try and do it. But then we'll get into the whole, why they make things more difficult for you when you get older.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, you've worked your whole life since you've been 16, 15. And then, and that's been working, right? We work all our lives. We work our whole lives. And then we die. Right?
Game over.
And then we die.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. I have a difficult time, thinking that, especially, I knew, you get the sense of time with kids.
Right.
Yeah. You get the sense of time and how much time is going by and how much time you have left when there's kids involved. Like, my daughter, when she was born, now she's 37 or, and then my granddaughter's born, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now she's 5.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what, there's going to be a time where I'm not going to have her in my life anymore. And I'm not going to be in hers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that really bothers me.
Yeah.
It really bothers me.
Think about that a lot too. I know Lydia will be fine. You mourn for how long you mourn for, and then there's a period of time where it'll just be, I remember my dad, and my dad was great, and I miss him and I love him, but you know what? I got to get to work,
Exactly.
and other things will fill that gap.
Yeah.
Other things, I'm thankful to say that over the last couple of years, I'm completely at peace with there being a world without Dave DeMarco in it. Totally cool with that. In some ways, it'll probably be a better place, right? Except for such a small number of people that might not feel that way. But probably, if we're looking globally, I think the world would be a little bit of a better place. But the problem that I have reconciling time is looking at, name the album. So, Rush, All the World's a Stage, and looking at that and going, okay, 1976, and going, okay, that was almost 40 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And to me, it seems like there was oh, okay, I just got this album, and look, it's brand new. And I cannot fathom the passing of even decades and going, that was 10 years ago. This was the trippiest thing. When the Regal Beagles came out to do that show that we did, our comeback show,
right,
a couple months ago. And the video that we did this really cool video at Invisible, and a promo video. And I'm watching it, and it said 2015 on it. And we all looked so different. We all had darker hair. Most of us were skinnier. Right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, that was a completely different part of my life. I was married. Lydia was 2. Mm-hmm. But it was, I just felt like, I was like, who's that guy? Who is that guy?
I just rolls by, man.
And so now it's 9 years, and I have a real hard time with that. I will like Austin Powers. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. I'll get like that over thinking about the passage of time. So it wigs me out. I really wish I could come to grips with how things move.
They move, very rapidly.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, that my life. I lived my life at a point in time. All this time elapsed, the beginning of time to whenever my time's going to end, right? That little lifetime span of mine.
Yeah.
Rush was in it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Rush was in it.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Before they got together, everybody had their own thing going on, but Rush was in this little part of it's been my whole entire life. And here's the other thing. I can't believe Neil's gone.
Yeah.
Right? You gave me that bad news. You were the person that told me that I was at work. And it was just before quitting time. It was close to 5:00. And my phone rang, and I'm like, oh, it's Dave DeMarco. He never calls me. What the fuck is going on? Right? And I picked
That's
up.
Not true.
Hey, man, what's happening? All you said was, have you heard? I'm like, no.
Right. That question never has a good answer.
No, I haven't.
Right.
And you said Neil's going. I'm like,
Thanks.
what?
Glad to help.
Yeah. I learned in the kitchen, standing in the kitchen, someone sent me a text. No, I saw it on Facebook. Someone put a post. And my first reaction was, nope, not true. Didn't happen. And then post. And then I saw the Rolling Stone one. And I unleashed a torrent of profanities that would make a truck driver blush.
Well,
and she couldn't. It was toast.
Yeah,
absolutely just toast.
Here's the thing. Like I said, it was close to quitting time, 10 minutes to 5. So we hang up the phone. I go sit at my desk till I walk out, and I'm walking to my car. It's all it's all really, man. What? No way. And I get in my car in the parking lot, and I just started bawling. Right? I just a guy I don't even know. Right? Don't even know him personally, but my grown ass man is crying over somebody that passed away. That just, but
it hits. The stuff hits, and yesterday or 2 days ago was John Bonham's death day.
Right,
44 years ago.
44
years ago. 44. That's what I mean about records. I'm 12 years old. I'm in my room. I'm air drumming to all this Led Zeppelin that's being played on the radio. Why are they playing song after song? I don't know. This is really cool. One after the other. And then Sarah Fleischer or somebody came on and said that he had died.
Yeah. And I think they had just announced they were going to tour, and they had a date at the Capitol Center. Yes.
My buddy Jay and I, Jay Phillips from my first band, we had to, we're getting tickets. Yeah. We're not going to miss this. We're going to see Zeppelin. So he's the guy I called. Yeah. I called him. Jay. I said, Jay, John Bonham's doing. Yeah. Boy. God, man. It's, when I found out that Chris Squire died, I was in line at the grocery store. One of my students sends me a text. Not have you heard, didn't cushion it, didn't give me any kind of buffer. He just, R.I.P. Chris Squire. And I'm going, and I got people over here, and I got people here. And I'm in the middle, and I'm going, hold it together, and get up there, pay for your stuff, then get out and do whatever you have to do. And I got out of there, managed to hold it together until I got home, walked in the door. My then wife looked at me and said, what happened? And I couldn't speak, and I handed her the phone so she could see the text. And then I went outside and lost it.
It's crazy how we get attached to our musicians that we worship growing up as kids.
I talk about this a lot with my girlfriend. This is a new phenomenon for her. She's never experienced someone who gets that tied into these players to where they have such an effect on our lives that when they're gone, it's like a family member has gone, right? So she has had to adjust to, I think it was Eddie Van Halen. I'm trying to think who's died since we've been together. Eddie was one of them. There's been a handful of other ones. Yeah. And, and I'm trying to explain this to her. I'm like, no, you don't understand. And I'm gutted. You're just totally gutted. People, again, never met these people. Never would meet these people. Especially in the case of Neil Peart. We were never going to meet him unless we met at a truck stop when he was on his motorcycle somewhere, right?
Right.
So, and yet they're gone. And because we know we're not going to get anything else from them ever, and we have this body of work, but they're gone. They were a life source for us. We learned from these people, not only in terms of, just for Neil, not just in terms of drumming, but we learned from his lyrics. We learned not only how to write great lyrics, but we learned the things that he wanted to express. Whatever it was, we learned from these people.
And such a smart man.
Yeah.
How's he go? Brain cancer? Are you kidding me?
His brain said, I'm done. This man has thought of everything. It's like reaching the end of the internet when you go, there's no more pages left to view.
I remember the night they announced Neil's passing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Lisa. Yeah. Oh God. I had a gig that night. Oh no. Oh no. Oh God. I had a gig that night. I don't know how I played. Oh my God.
Little Willie.
When I found out that Keith Emerson died, I was doing a session down at Q in Falls Church, and we were out on break, and I got a text from someone who said Keith Emerson died. And I'm like, I got to go back in the studio and play and be like a normal person. And then I had a gig that night as well.
Riverwatch. You were at Riverwatch.
Wow. Whew. I think I must have blocked that out.
Probably you had to, man.
Yeah. I don't know how I played. And I'm guessing we did the couple Rush songs we did. I don't know how I sang them. No worse than you ever do, Dave.
Wow. Remember, right? We did. Tony Lecter and I did a couple when I was jamming with Blue Line. We did. He sat down with his guitar and we did a couple songs.
Wow.
in tribute, just like acoustic.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Let's lift this up a little bit.
Please.
We've got a bit maudlin here.
Man, how long is this show going on for?
Well,
going on
here. That tends to happen. I've done some of these where we go 3 hours sometimes. All right. Should Alex and Getty reform Rush with a new drummer?
No.
Okay.
No. No. Rush was Rush with Neil. I mean, they could certainly get together and write music and, with a different drummer, but they're not going to call it Rush.
Right. And if they did, who would you want it to be?
Drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who could? I mean, Nick DiVirgilio.
That would be awesome,
right? There's the Mike Portnoy who plays just like him, and there's the Tool guy, who's awesome, right?
Yeah.
No, let's get somebody else in there that can play. How about Steve Smith?
Oh wow, that would be crazy.
Huh?
That would be wild.
There's another guy who's blown me. I was from here. Sitting at a table from that guy at the Blues Alley in D.C.
You gave me a drumstick from that show. Yep, I remember you telling me about that.
Talk about crazy. You would never know how good he is playing from when he played with Journey. The stuff he does in his jazz outfit, man. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Wow. Vital information. Yep.
Yes. And if I'm keeping an eye on his website for when he comes back around. We need to go see that guy. You need to go see him.
I've never seen him, and I would love to. Are you going to see Dream Theater when they come around next year?
My brother just hit me up.
Yeah.
He wants to go. Is it March?
Yeah.
At the 9:30, I think.
Anthem.
Right.
Yeah.
He wants to go. Show. And I said, you know what? I haven't been into Dream Theater for a long time. What's the one that came after Awake?
After Awake was
that's about when I rolled out.
So Change of Seasons.
Right, they're the live stuff, and they did the cover. That's about when I rolled out.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay.
I don't know. They do. They're all great. They all, they jam, and they're all, and then he's and all that stuff. And I mean, I just need some harmonies and melodies, and I don't want to go on for like 10 minutes at a time.
Check out the album that came after Change of Seasons. It's called Falling Into Infinity.
Yeah.
Derek Sherinian on keys.
Okay.
This was the album where Atlantic Records said to them.
Yeah, I have it. I'll spin it again.
Did we go see them at Daytona's? They played Daytona's on that tour.
Really?
I believe that. Yeah, I saw them.
I don't believe that.
I don't remember if. Okay. Yeah.
You saw it?
Oh, yeah, of course. I saw them every time they came around.
Daytona's?
Absolutely. Derek Sherinian. Yep. They played Daytona's. They brought some stage extensions out. I mean, it was crazy.
Wow.
They were amazing.
I'm sure.
But that album, so that was when Atlantic Records, it was their last album for Atlantic. And it was like, you got to make some stuff happen here. You got to deliver on this, right? So they made the album sound a bit more commercial, a bit more melodic. So there were still the classic Dream Theater elements are there, but it is absolutely their most accessible album. And strangely enough, I don't know why, but I love it's that typically isn't what I'm gravitate towards, the poppier side. It's their best. I'm not gonna say it's their best. It's one of the best.
Huh.
It's a great album.
I'll have to spin it again.
It's a totally different twist. And then right after that, they abandoned that, and the next album after that was Scenes from a Memory. No, that was late. Scenes from a Memory with Jordan, which was Jordan's first album. Yeah. And they went right back to, they said, all right, you know what? We're going to do what we do best. Here's a 28-minute long song. And I was like, there we go. That's the band I know.
Yeah. I thought, I entertained probably like just grabbing tickets at the door. You got tickets already?
Yeah, I'm going to the New York show.
Oh, well, really?
It's the last night of the show. We're playing Radio City Music Hall.
The last night?
Last night of the tour, yeah. I figured, for one thing, I've never been to Anthem, and I'm sure it's a lovely venue. I don't want to stand all night.
I've never been there either,
So I want to sit, and I can do that at Radio City. And I figured, them being New York boys, it'll be
pretty cool.
Last night of the show would be probably pretty cool. So
and
I can walk. I can walk to the show.
That's the last night in New York. Then DC must be close to the last night, right?
It is second to last night.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might go see him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
waiting for Bubba Bash to get.
Are you gonna do another one of those?
It'll be it'll be 3 of 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked about Dream Theater, so. Well, okay. Back more Dream Theater. Okay. So both sides of the band. I don't know if you were still following the band at all. Probably not when Portnoy left and Mike Mangini came in. But so both sides of the camp, the Dream Theater side and Mangini, they both swear that Mangini was not given advance notice that Portnoy was coming back, and it was literally like Petrucci calling and saying, "Hey,
You're fired.
This Mike's coming back," and all this, and oh, okay, yeah, great, oh, okay, I understand, right, that kind of thing. And I think it's uncanny that Mangini's solo album was due to drop the day after. That would, I have a hard time believing that this wasn't set up a good bit in advance, that they kept Mangini in the dark the whole time, knowing that at the end of this tour, that's going to be it. And we'll wait until it's all over, wait a couple of days, and then let him go. He had to have known, because they worked out the timing of Mangini being able to drop an album. Think about it. You're getting dropped from a band. You're getting fired. And what a great cushion to be able to say, yeah, listen, hey, my time in the band is over. It was a great run, and this was awesome. But guess what? My new album comes out tomorrow. What a great landing. Okay, that makes too much sense. That's a beautiful way to do it. And I can't believe that they said, hey, we better tell Mike before his album comes out that he's going to get, And I think they had to know. They had to know. Both parties had to work that out.
You think?
I think so.
Would they say? Why would he act like they did? Why would they throw that out there like they didn't?
Well, because there was so much. Because Portnoy had played with Petrucci's solo album, and a lot of people were asking, "Is he coming back? Is he coming back?" They were beating him up over it, and Petrucci even went in the press and said, "Listen, Mike Mangini's our drummer." He didn't say Portnoy's not coming back. He said Mike Mangini is our drummer, and
who knows?
Yeah,
I don't think there's no bad blood, is it? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Mike Mangini took it
he took it very professional. So what's funny? I gotta say this. There's an interesting parallel between Mangini coming into Dream Theater. So it all happened at the exact same time that I came into Crack the Sky. And they were very similar, because there was a period of time where I didn't know if I was going to be in the band or not. I was waiting for them to give me the yay or nay. And that happened with Mangini. If you remember, they made a video series of all the auditions, right? And he was waiting, and there's a video of Mangini talking and going, God, I really hope I get this. I'm going to be a great fit for this band. I'd love to do this and all that. So they announced that he was joining the band, and then it was like a couple weeks later, I found out that I was going to be joining Crack the Sky. So then there was this 13-year run where Mangini's in Dream Theater, puts out 4 or 5 albums with them. I'm in Crack the Sky, did 7 or 8 albums with them. And Mangini gets fired, and then I get fired from Crack the Sky within, well, that was last October, and this was that Mangini got fired. I got fired in March. So, but still, roughly the same period of time. We both had a 13-year run in a great band.
That was 13 years.
It was 13 years.
Time again,
right? Where did that?
13 years.
13 years. As you can tell, because I got 13 years worth of Crack the Sky memorabilia in here.
See it.
You should see upstairs. It's everywhere.
I see it.
It's everywhere. Yeah. So I always thought that someday if I ever meet Mangini, I'm going to tell him that, I was following your story so closely because I was living it, my own version of that. And
yeah, Mike Hetzel's good from Why Not, but he's I'm thinking about somebody that could come in with a different style and play with Geddy and Alex. But he covers Rush well, right? Very good.
Right into the outdoor. Right. Okay. So anyway, all right, let's move on.
You still got questions?
I still got stuff, man. You're not getting out of here that quick. All right, well, we already talked about King's X. So, how many times have you seen them?
King's X?
Yeah.
I've seen Rush 33 times, and King's X is probably 20.
Wow.
20 something.
Wow.
I was going to bring
the book.
My book.
I have mine.
I was going to bring it so we could just flip through and say, "Hey, I was at that show through it," but I didn't. But I got
that on the follow-up one.
I got them numbered.
Yeah.
And I even got Brittany. She's seen Rush probably 5 or 6 times, and I got her concerts that she's went to.
Oh, wow.
She's seen Grand Funk.
Wow.
She's seen Kansas.
She saw Kiss with us.
She saw Kiss.
Yeah.
She's seen Rush a few times. I've taken her to see 98 Degrees and Britney Spears. Front row for Britney Spears. How you like that?
Wow.
Good dad I am.
Yeah.
Huh? Scored front row Britney Spears tickets.
I mean, you probably weren't.
That's a
suffering
funny
too bad.
story.
Okay.
That's a funny story. So yeah, Britney was, I don't know, maybe.
You're Britney, not Britney Spears. Right?
Yeah, Britney was maybe in her teens.
Yeah.
And I forget, this was like when Britney Spears was on top of the, she came to the Civic Center. And dear old dad, I'm going to go down there and just like when I did it for Rush, I'm going to go down. I'm going to stand in line for tickets, right?
Yep.
You don't do that. Nobody does that anymore. But I'm going to go stand in line for Britney Spears tickets. So I get down there and like, I don't know, 20 or 30 back. You know, there's people in line. Somebody comes out with a I don't know, a hat or a box. Just pick numbers. Everybody's going to pick a number. And that's going to be your place in line when tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock. So they get to me. I pick one.
You got one?
I picked one.
Damn.
So guess 10 o'clock, guess who's first in line?
Wow.
And I got front row seats for Britney Spears.
No kidding.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
What was I going to say to you? Oh, yeah. So I have Kings. I've seen them, I want to say 12, 13 times. Not as many as you. I wish I'd seen them. Because there was this whole period where I missed. I didn't see anything. And I mean, you've seen them recently, and I haven't seen them. So,
yeah, well, remember last time you probably saw was when we went to, what was the sit-down place in Virginia? The Birchmere, right?
Yes. Yeah, that
Bill was there, Stanko, was there.
Yeah, that's probably the last time I saw them.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. This is my final question. Doesn't mean we have to be finished.
Final answer.
This is the final question that I came up with. The internet, has it made things better or worse for musicians overall?
Worse.
How so?
Because everybody's in your business. Everybody's, I don't know. For musicians, see, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm up to that level where it could hinder or be good for me as a personal musician. Personally. Right? I think it would need to be more like maybe a regional band or somebody that's going out of state and maybe doing some tours. Then I might be able to answer it effectively. I mean, internet. I don't know. How do you think? What do you think?
I see it as so I have to do it as a pro and con, and then hope maybe we'll come to a conclusion at the end. Pros for guys like you and I who play in local bands.
Yeah. We
don't have to go paper people's windshields in parking lots with flyers for bands our show anymore, right? You had to. I mean, it was you spend just as much time as you would doing a gig,
flyers,
going to Kinko's, getting them produced, spending all that money, going to who's going to go, man? I went last time. Come on, man, you haven't gone in a month.
I get that.
And then someone's got to go and paper all these cars on a weekend when you're not playing, mind you. Because what's the point of doing it on a Wednesday night? You have to go at a night when there's going to be cars in the parking lot.
Because you're probably practicing.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you don't have to do that anymore. Getting the gig, okay, I don't have to call a guy. When are you going to be there? Okay, I'll drop off my promo kit, which had a cassette or a CD in it. But it was this whole thing that, again, you had to spend money to get it made up, and a nice picture and a nice write-up and all this, and hope that when you got it, you gave it to the guy in the club, that the CD did not get separated from the materials. So you had to, then we got smart, started Velcroing things in, right? We had a half a chance. But then follow up. What did you think? Did you listen to it? I did have a chance. Call me back in another month. All that. Now it's like, here's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Here, look at all the people in the crowd. Here's and done. I book gigs. Like it's so easy now to book gigs.
I get that.
And I'm really grateful that I that's what makes me appreciate what we have now, because of how hard it and. Well, we didn't think it was hard back then. It was just what you did. We never could have foreseen that this future was coming, this digital age where it was going to simplify and make everything so easy for us. So that's the pro. Okay. And the ease
good
of
pro.
the ease of getting your music into people's ears.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's, well, the money side of it is different, but getting people to hear your music is really easy now. Again, you send them a link to either a video or audio, whatever it may be. So I think that's all really positive. Finding musicians, okay? Interviewing musicians. Again, used to have people come over, even to find out if they were decent. They'd have to maybe send you, we used to ask people, send us a demo of your playing, and if we like it, we'll call you in and have you for an audition, right? So you weed through all these cassettes to find out somebody who's decent, and then pick of those, we whittle it down to 3 people. You bring those 3 people in, and then you have to audition them. Now that part of it still, I guess, happens, that you still have to audition people. But that whole, now, again, someone can send me, hey, here's a link from my band from 2 months ago, from last year, whatever. You can listen to them and decide within a second whether they're good enough to bring in for an audition. So that's really easy. That's really good. I like that part of it. What I don't like is that it's almost impossible to make a living from your music anymore. If you're someone who creates original music, you're not getting paid anymore, and it'll never go back, because we're never going to convince the public. We're never going to convince them that they should go back to the old way of buying CDs, because now you have access to the world's history of recorded music. And I know you're paying for it, but it's an inconvenient fee. People, $9 a month for Apple Music. Okay, whatever, fine. You don't even think about it anymore. It just automatically comes out of your credit card. But so in the minds of the consumers, music is essentially free. It is essentially free, because I rode, and you probably did this, I rode my bike to Harford Mall, 12 miles in each direction, to buy the new Cheap Trick album in 1982.
Well, yeah.
I could have waited a couple days and my mom would have taken me, but I wanted the adventure. But you had to buy an album. You had to drive somewhere and then get it. And so your experience with the music was completely different. You would put the album on, drop the needle on, and you'd sit there in your room with your black light on, and you would read the liner notes and you'd read the lyrics, and you wanted to absorb everything about it. It wasn't passive listening where it's on in the background while you're vacuuming and doing all that. You actively got involved with listening to this album to absorb everything that it was about, and to hear the progression from the previous album. Now, it's no big. There's no pride of ownership. Remember, if you owned, when you got your copy of Faith, Hope, Love, weren't you proud to have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've got this album. I own this, and I know what this album is. I know what this is all about. This has changed me. Now it's a file that lives in an app on your phone or on your computer. Now the convenience part is great. I'll go back to a positive now. Now look at my playlists here. I've got all my bands have playlists. So when it's time for me to practice for HFS or whomever it is, I can pull up their list. And there's all the songs right then and there. I don't have to change cassettes and CDs and all that. I can practice much more efficiently now. Oh, and YouTube videos. If there's a tricky part, I can go on YouTube and someone's probably demonstrating how to play it.
You know what I like to do? I like to go, if we're going to learn a song, I like to go watch different people's versions of that song. I like to watch people cover it and pick up with different ideas, different ways they do it. Right?
Yeah. So my assessment in the nutshell is that the internet has been mostly positive, as long as you're not trying to make money from it. If you're trying to make money as a singer, as a composer of music, you'd better be getting placements. You'd better be getting placements in TV and film, or have an amazing fan base who. So obviously what bands are doing, and we've seen, obviously everything that Neil does on his label. He'll put out the album, but then he'll put out the deluxe set that has 20 other songs and a making of video, a DVD, a poster, a this, that, and the other, kind of like what Kiss used to do. You get all this extra stuff. But so he'll put that out and say, okay, yeah, you can get our album on iTunes for $0.00, or for $28, you can get this really cool deluxe edition. So that's how you make money.
It's got something called Waterfall too, where it's like you can join. It's a subscription to join, and he'll throw like little tidbits in there that you can't get anywhere. And I think it's a monthly subscription.
Exactly.
That's the shit you got to do, right?
That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. And meet and greets, the paid meet and greets.
Yeah.
You know, the paid meet and greets because touring is so expensive now. The cost to get a band on the road, you know, when you listen, South America is where two things thrive in South America, and that is prog and metal. Okay? So when you hear that Anthrax can't go to South America because it's too expensive, okay, that's the place where they're supposed to go and clean up. And it's too expensive for Anthrax to go to South America. Yeah. That's saying something about the industry.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, Neil was standing out taking shit out of his trailer in front of the 930 Club.
Right.
I walked up to him.
Yeah.
With a Sharpie and his sleeve to his freaking CD. Sign this for me. Oh yeah, sure. Take a picture. Oh yeah, sure. Now, right. But I got to pay $100 to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, some bands don't. King's X still, you know, it's a freebie. But the bigger bands, you know, you want to go say hi to Kiss? That'll be $400, please. You know.
Portnoy the same way. He's like used sticks, $25 a piece.
Is
you know?
He really? Well,
yeah, like all kinds of stuff that he's selling.
But that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. And if there's a market for it, why not? If somebody is willing to pay $25 for a pair of sticks that he used on this song at this show, okay.
But I walked up to him at the 8x10 Club. No, I'm sorry. What's the one in DC that's not there anymore? The old
Nation?
No. I'm going back to Images and Words. The Bayou.
Oh, the Bayou. Okay.
The Bayou. Walked in there when they were touring Images and Words, just after it came out. I walk in the door, and I'm looking over. He's standing. He's playing pinball. Portnoy's playing pinball, right? So I wait till he's done. I had my sleeve to my CD. Hey, will you sign this? And he had a Sharpie hanging around. Right? Sure. Now what do you got to do? You got to pay $100 to get that.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's how you got to make your money.
Yeah. So I guess my answer is that for guys like me at this local level, I think obviously it's a very positive thing.
It is.
But at the upper level of things, I think it's robbed an entire level of income from people who depend on it. You know, Donald Fagen, okay, at whatever age he is in his mid-70s, I think he should be able to sit back and still make a comfortable income on the royalties from his music. Instead, and he's been very vocal about this, he has to tour because his income stream got decimated by I'm sorry, I'm not poking fun of you, making fun of it, but this is just kind of how it is. Okay? It got decimated because everybody wanted free. Everybody wants free. And you know, people were Rams Head Live. You saw it shut down.
Yes, I did see that.
Right. And I loved Rams Head Live. I'm even drinking out of my Rams Head Live mug, right?
Look at that.
I love that venue, but I loved playing at that venue. Going there as a concert goer was a completely different vibe. It's one of the worst sounding rooms ever.
I've never played there, but
playing there is fantastic.
Seen a few bands there.
It's fantastic. It was a wonderful, every band I played there with, loved it. The gigs were great. The staff was great. They treated everybody. It was totally, and this is back when it was owned by Ramshead, before AEG came in. It was great. Loved it. But as a going to listen to it, this is no reflection on the sound, man. It was just a bad sounding room.
Absolutely.
It was not a good sounding room at all. So people were saying, well, hey, you know, if you bought more tickets, then maybe this place wouldn't have shut down. And I think if the room sounded better, more people would buy tickets. I will drive to Virginia to go see a band rather than drive downtown and risk getting mugged parking in that area where Ramshead is.
There's that.
Okay, then there's that. I'll go drive to Virginia or to Jersey to go see a band rather than see them in Baltimore because I don't want to get killed and the room sounds like hell. So
I don't know.
I guess I'm not making any points. I'm venting.
I'll go down there. What's the soundstage?
Yeah, another great room to play. Played there a handful of times. Great room.
Yeah,
sound is actually good there. It's a good sounding room.
I've seen a few bands there, and I'll go down. park right in that parking garage right there in the corner and walk across the street and go see a band there. I don't have any issue. I'll go down there by myself.
I have friends who have been mugged, who played there, walking out with their guitars.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
You know.
So when we did it, we always had shifts. So no one can be by themselves. You have to walk in a group with people, and yeah. So Baltimore, man. Yeah. Baltimore is a trip. Well, let's see. Folks, do you have any other questions for us? Both of them, thank you.
I think everybody zoned out.
Thank you. We still got 15 people here, it looks like, and we're just shy of 2 hours. Wow, so we've kept your attention for that long.
What else can we talk about?
I don't know. What else is there? I think we've solved all the world's problems.
We have.
Except for the Middle East and, yeah. Well, it's been awesome having you here.
My oldest and bestest musician friend from Baltimore, Maryland.
From 1996.
Established
in 1996. We'll have to do something. We'll have to celebrate in 2 years.
What did we say we're going to come back and do? What? Next time we said we were going to...
Oh, we're going to have our
ticket stubs.
Yes. Lathan and I both have photo albums that we've repurposed for concert stubs. And I've got them all in chronological order. You got a couple of stubs
I got one I can add to it.
Oh, yeah? And again, now it's hard because how often do you actually have a physical ticket anymore, right? So what's that? Oh, yeah.
Right?
I bet that was... So let's talk about that. How was ELO last night?
Oh, ELO was fantastic. I mean, yeah, spot on vocals. Production was just amazing.
Where was it?
Capital One Arena,
Where's
DC. It's where the Capitals play. You know, it's in the middle of the city there.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. Yeah. Okay.
I can't say how good that show was. I mean, it reminded me of going to see Rush because I told Mike Babinik, who's a sound and light guy.
Yeah.
We've sort of became kind of friendly here lately. He had some MVA issues, and I was trying to help him out, but I was talking to him about the lights. I mean, they were just incredible, and it reminded me of going to a Rush show because, I mean, nobody did it better than Rush.
Right.
They were second to none as far as their production, their lighting production, and their sound. I don't think anybody did it better. And ELO, Jeff, they were right up there. You know, it reminded me of going to see a Rush show, which was good. It was very, very entertaining.
Yeah. You know, Rush were one of the first bands that I saw that had lasers. I remember on the Grace Under Pressure tour, they had lasers.
Right.
And this was right when Yes had come out with 90125, and they also had lasers. But I don't know of anybody else who was doing it.
I know, man. That's a great album.
It's a fantastic album. You know, all these diehard Yes fans who refuse to embrace Trevor Rabin. Okay, I get it. I love Steve Howe. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. We just have to look at it as being a different version of the band. You know? Do you know the album Talk?
Yes.
Good God. I'm playing this song. I got to play this song.
Yeah.
I've got to play. There's a song on that album called Real Love. It's the heaviest thing that they have ever done.
I mean, I like drama. That's one of my favorite Yes albums. But Big Generator, I mean, that Trevor Rabin stuff is unbelievable. Even Colors of Sound.
Okay, here we go. Now, so the song starts off kind of mellow.
Oh, it's almost 9 minutes.
Yeah. All right, so this song, starts off a little chill. Takes a minute to kick in. But when this kicks in, so what's neat to me about this is Yes doesn't really do a lot of heavy. Machine Messiah is probably the second heaviest song they've ever done.
Drama.
Okay. Heart of the Sunrise, South Side of the Sky are kind of heavyish songs. But Yes is not known for doing heavy stuff. And then they do this. 1994, this album came out. And this album is another one that ripped my head off. Brad Chatterton used to play this album at sound checks for Crack the Sky, and I would sit there and just play bass along to the whole album while he was doing.
Who's the band? What's the band?
So this is Trevor Rabin, Alan White, John Anderson, Chris Squire, and Tony Kaye. Okay, but now Tony Kaye is only playing Hammond organ. All other keyboards that you hear, including all of this, that's all Trevor Rabin.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how it was on the other 9125 and Big Generator, too. He's only playing Hammond. Okay, so you're listening to this, not convinced there's any heaviness here yet. Wait till you listen to Alan. Holy shit, listen to Alan on this. Okay, this sounds another ethereal, weird Yes song. Just wait. I'm going to make really scary air drum faces in a minute, so I'm just warning you all now.
And I'm not.
He's going to be composed, and I'm going to be a mental case. This is a song when I played in the car. Speakers are all blown in my car. I'm convinced it's because of this.
Thanks to King's X in my car.
Yeah. All right, here it comes. Alan, fuck.
That's big.
It gets all Lydian in here, which is cool, right there. Now, where it goes after this, I'm going to fast forward because it's going to do all this stuff again, but it's going to do it heavier. Okay. There's another verse. Okay. Now, guitar's in with it. Playing that riff. I can picture Trevor in the studio. Go. I can picture him orchestrating this whole thing, you know? Trevor's going to play this great line right here. Right here.
He's so good at that, man.
Just throwing those little bits in,
he's
man.
So good at that.
Against all this clean country stuff that's going on in the background there.
Like, I was just thinking of something he did on the 901 album.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like little, and even on Big Generator, he does something like that. I can't remember.
All right, now we're going to fast forward a little bit more because it gets quiet. It's going to get really quiet. And then it's going to come in heavier than it's been again. It's going to come back even heavier. If anybody's still here, I mean, I've still got everybody. Still seeing. Let's watch Dave spaz out to Yes. Here we go.
That's good, man. Oh.
You know, this is the stuff that I could have been in the studio making this, having any part to do with this, playing bass, playing drums, playing whatever. I'd walk out of this going, I can retire. I'm done. Okay.
There's another singer, man. What a voice.
All right, now while
I
we're
just
talking,
saw him with the Band Geeks at I think where was it? The Lyric, one of those theaters. And the guy just blew me away with it. He sings like a bird.
okay,
You
now
hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. All right, now I know you know this song because you're the guy who turned. We're talking about Mike Keneally now. You're the guy who turned me on to Mike Keneally's solo thing. I knew of him from Zappa, but you took me to see him.
We did
On my birthday in 1998 or something at some place in Virginia, right?
Zips or Zaps or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then I became insane.
That show, Beer for Dolphins.
Yes, remember
floored
that?
me.
Absolutely. So this song has become my favorite Keneally song. And when I went out to LA in January to see
Did you
him.
tell him?
Yeah. We were talking. I was like, I saw his set list he played 2 nights in a row. And I saw both nights, but he did 2 shows each night. And I saw the 10 o'clock show Friday and Saturday. So for Thursday night, when I got there, I said, "Did you play Cause of Breakfast yet?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's in the next set." Cool. So this song, I'm telling you, so I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, and the brutality of how it's heavy on this, but the way he played it with Joe Travers and Pete Griffin on bass, tears are, and she's looking at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm going, this is the sickest thing ever. So this song just. And this is nothing compared to how it sounds when he plays
live in your face, man.
And I saw with the Baked Potato in LA, which is this 40-seat little jazz bar. So I'm this far away, and everything's just ripping my head off.
That's heavy duty, man.
And Joe Travers is absolutely. Now listen to how the vocals play against the guitar. There's rhythms. The vocals. Hear that? I gotta hear that again. Where is it? He sings and plays that. All that singing.
That's him singing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's got a little Thai sound to him.
He does.
It's a board.
Yeah.
Sort of.
God. I'm sitting there like what? I'm like, here's me at the club. I'm sitting there like this. Tears.
Nice.
Now listen.
It reminds me of that.
Tell me that's not King's X.
Yeah. It reminds me of the one he does with Rod Morgenstein, Ty and Rod and
the Platypus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just rips my head.
Pink Floyd also had an awesome light show. Yes, they did. I saw them at RFK outside. It sounded like a CD.
Yeah.
Norm, I'm already on to the Beatles, pal.
And then there's this one. Now here's the Zappa section. This is like Zappa vibe, kind of.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times when I did that gig that I would just turn to my left and I would go, that's Mike Keneally. What am I doing here?
That's crazy. That's amazing, man.
He had, his signature guitar is this green Strat, and I showed up and there it was. I'm like, that guitar is gonna be played
That's another
a foot and a half from me.
When you told me that, I was like, damn, dude.
Listen to that. This is Pantera. This is Pantera pre-Pantera. so freaking brilliant, man. Oh, and he's got plenty more like this, by the way. This isn't just like the great song off his album. He's got more of these. And this album came out in 90 or 91, something like that.
Yeah.
Who else was doing this then? Not like this.
Nope. Thank you. Good night.
There's really no other song that I can play after that because you don't follow that song.
That's right.
That was usually what he would end with.
Yeah, it's a good one. Here, smack you in the face with that and say good night.
Actually, I will play. There's only one possible song I can end this with. This is off. He's put out 4 albums like in last year alone. I think he put out 4 albums. This is from one of those albums. It's a song that has Steve Vai on it. Oh, come on. Why? It's because I can't spell it.
Kniesley.
Okay. So check out this song. This is in. When I saw him on the second show, I said, "Did you play Celery?" And he goes, "Yeah, I played it in the first set. I probably going to play it in the second set." I was like, "Please." He put it in and played it for me. So this is all Keneally, but there's a solo that's going to come up that's Vi. You guys still with us? God bless you. We lost a couple, but that's okay. That change is so screwed up, man. Good tritone riff. Okay, this is Keneally soloing. Next solo is Vi. Look at that. It's like when you hear guys say, "Oh man, all these players who know their theory, man, takes the soul out of their playing." It's my ass. So if nothing else, folks, hopefully I'm turning you on to Mike Keneally, and I hope you enjoy him as much as I do. Look at that. Who else plays like this?
How old's that guy?
How old is he? 62.
Yeah.
This is Vi. So after the show, we're talking, and I don't forget how we were talking, but I said, dude, I know that you've got a million bass players that you play with. I was like, can I just be the 19th guy on your list? And he goes, well, of course. You proved yourself. You could be that guy. I was like, yes. So I've got a song that I'm working on called "The 19th Guy on Your List." So yeah,
It's not a bad number.
yeah.
Man, that would be cool if you could like land a little fucking gig with him.
I'd lose my mind. When I think about music that I would want to like,
the reason why you couldn't, man.
well, some of this stuff is very challenging, but we think about. So I just remember what it was like doing that the project gig, and having to learn all those songs in a week. Okay, and it was great. I loved all that music, right? But it's different when it's the guy it's his music,
right?
It's not. We're not just. And listen, it was great playing Genesis and King Crimson and Rush with all those guys. It was awesome. But to say, okay, now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to absorb I'm going to learn his catalog, or at least however much I need for this gig. Would be amazing to sit down and do that. You know, you just become like such an insanely better player when you have to do that. But then, what a privilege to get to, so. It'll probably never happen, but wouldn't it be cool? It's something to dream about.
Don't say that, man. I'm sure you he looked over there and saw it and like, man, all right. I'm sure he said that's fucking guy's good.
The coolest part was just getting off the stage and they all came over and go, that was good, man. You did great, man. It was really cool. Rio was hysterical.
Old Rio.
He was very demonstrative.
And even that was open up avenues with him or somebody else.
I tried. So Rio had a band, that Cruise to the Edge thing.
Yeah.
So Rio's solo band did a gig on there, whenever that was last year, and the bass player that I filled in for with Project, Rick Farabracci, called me and he's like, "Call Rio. He needs a bass player for this thing. I don't know if he's got anybody yet, but I heard he needs a bass player." So I got a hold of Rio. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, this is a maybe. He said, I'll get back to you real soon. And so then I said, all right, let me get familiar with his solo album. He put up this album called The Mostra, right?
Yeah.
And I'm listening to that. I'm going, oh crap. But I started working on it just in case. And he ended up getting a guy who is actually going to be like his main dude. So, he's LA based. So having a guy in LA makes a lot more sense. So anyway, I was trying. But when I went up and saw them in Philly a couple months ago, and we reconnected, and he's like, I'm keeping you in mind. I'm keeping, so.
See that?
Oh, did I tell you about Panama? I don't know if I didn't tell you about Panama. So you guys still with us? Just telling stories now. So for those, I'll give you the context on this. There was everything I've been talking about the last however long with LATHAN here. There was a band called Project, which is a progressive rock tribute band that I did a gig with last year. And it has Mike Keneally, who we were just listening to, and has Jonathan Mover, who's played with the Tubes and GTR and Mick Jagger and Satriani and all these guys. Yes. So and the whole band is and this guy Rio that I'm talking about from Spock's Beard is in the band. So all these real heavyweights, and I got to do a gig with them. So Jonathan calls me and he says, this is back in the end of August. He's like, what are you doing September 28th? And I was like, other than celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the gig I did with you, I actually had 2 gigs on the books. I was like, why? He goes, we have a show in Panama and Pete can't do it. And can you do it? And I was like, all right, I can probably get fill-ins for my show. Yeah, we'll go do this show in Panama. And he's like, but you got it. We got to rehearse. And because we're doing different stuff now. And can you come out to LA next week? I'm like, can I get the material back up in a week is question number 1, but can I get rid of my gigs for that week to go out to Panama or go to LA? And so, but he wasn't sure yet if that was going to be the rehearsal date. And it took him a long time to figure out that it wasn't going to work. And by then my window of opportunity left and I couldn't do that. But I gave him all these other windows in September that I had, like 3 other windows. I could do this. I could come out here. And none of them worked. But then he thought, there was a possibility that we would fly into Panama a day early and rehearse that day and then go do the show the next day. But then that didn't pan out. So
when's the gig? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. So, so then he ended up calling Pete and persuaded Pete to get out of his other obligation to do this. So they're doing the show. And
well, that's a drag, man. That would have been.
That would have been fun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting calls from Jonathan Mover, for Christ's sakes, right?
Yeah. So that would have been fun, to travel with them and, do this in a foreign country. So, who knows? There may be other opportunities.
There will be.
So
count on it.
So anyway, folks, we have
now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
What is that? Is that Captain
It's a
King?
Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh, Mickey Mouse. Okay.
MIC.
Anyway.
Why? Because we like you.
My God, that's right.
No, it's MIC.
See you real soon. KEY.
Why? Because we like you. MOUSE.
Wow, we're officially old.
We are old.
We're
We've
old.
discussed that earlier. We are old.
Mickey Mouse Club. But I really appreciate you guys being here and listening to all this. There's so many other things you could have done, and yet you chose to be here. And as always, when you guys make time for my live streams, I very much appreciate it. I hope you like this format because I want to do this again with a whole bunch of other musicians. It's just a matter of getting our schedules lined up. So this is not going to be like an every month thing. Maybe someday it will, but for now it's going to be whenever I have a hole in my calendar that lines up with someone who I'd like to bring on the show. And they have. It took Lathan and I kept months to make this date happen for tonight.
And the bar has been set.
That's right. Yeah, it is. And everything from here on out's got to be at least this good. So so if you enjoyed
Thank you, Ivy.
If you enjoyed this, I hope that we'll see you again. And if you feel compelled and if the spirit moves you and you feel like dropping a few shekels in the virtual tip bucket, that really helps. So thank you again for being here. This will be on YouTube. If you'd like to go back and revisit this, maybe play it Thanksgiving when everybody's together, the whole family's together. You can bring them all around and you can all gather around the hearth and watch this on your phone. And you can tell your grandparents what your favorite moments were from tonight. And so I hope this was as enriching and heartwarming for you as it was for us. So thank you and be well. And I'm going to try to turn this off, which I guess is right here. Bye-bye.
All right.